Hi. So last year, the Orange County Historical Society celebrated its 100th anniversary, and I shot a little something footage that it's really badly done in terms technically, but hopefully you'll find something interesting in it because it's really something I shot thinking I might use it this year in 2020. Which marks the centennial of the Society's first regular general meetings. So, anyway, without further ado, I take you back to 2019 when people were walking around in the street and shaking hands with people and doing all kinds of normal stuff, which hopefully we'll all be doing again in a few weeks. So, anyway, here we go. Hi, I'm Chris Jepsen, President of the Orange County Historical Society. And you, of course, know this building back here, the old Orange County Courthouse, built in 1901, a symbol of our county government, a symbol of our county and its rich history. But that's not what we're here to look at today, because we're celebrating 100 years of the Orange County Historical Society. And what we're looking at is this building back here, which is the Park Tower, built in 1985 by the Segerstrom family. Yes, the same family that built the South Coast Plaza, lima bean farmers made good. So why are we looking at a 1985 building when we're talking about the 100th anniversary of the Orange County Historical Society? Well, it's really because of where it sits. It's the footprint of the building that we're interested in. And if you look way down, let's see, we'll get out here, do a little construction. Look way down at the corner there. That's where the old Carnegie Library was, the old Santa Ana Public Library, built in 1903. Now, that building is long gone, but this building was built over its footprint and a whole lot of the rest of pretty much the whole block this building takes up. But this block had a lot of interesting things on it, including the old Elks Lodge and whatnot. So, but this is where the Orange County Historical Society held its first real, official, public, normal meeting on May 24th of 1920. So we'd had meetings before that. We'd been founded in 1919. But we'd not actually had a general normal meeting until May 24th, 1920, and it was on that site there, on that spot here in downtown Santa Ana. So we're going to try to get into the building, look around, see if we can get to the spot where the society had its first meeting. So let's see what we can do. Okay, this looks kind of promising. Let's see. Okay, so we're about in the middle of where the old library used to be, and they're right now refitting all this and doing construction, setting up to make this storage space for the Orange County Public Defender's Office right now, of all things. So it's still serving an important government function. In fact, a lot of county agencies rent space in this building. Everything from county healthcare agency to state child services on up to even the Secret Service has an office in this building, I understand. Although, of course, I imagine it's secret. But anyway, we held our first meeting here 100 years ago for the Orange County Historical Society, and our first speaker was Judge Pleasance, this fellow. Now, we had just made him at that point our first honorary member of the society, or one of the first two honorary members of the society, which is still a rare honor we occasionally bestow today. But it was appropriate, and he was our first speaker at this at our first official meeting. And he spoke about raising stock in the early years of Orange County. He came in the early 1860s, the very beginning of the 1860s, as ranch foreman for pioneer William Wolfskill to manage his ranch land out around the lower Santiago. And Judge Pleasance, who was not a real judge, by the way, he was called, that was his nickname because he judged a lot of the early horse races back in the early years of California around this area. And that's where he got the nickname. But you know, he was kind of a backwoods guy. He'd a ranching guy. He'd raised bees out in Majeska Canyon at one point. He'd an apiarist, as they say. And in fact, he had his little cabin out there in Majeska Canyon where he lived earlier on in his life. He sold to Madame Helena Majeska, the famous Polish actress, when she moved out and wanted to get away from it all and start her little getaway there of Arden. And she built her beautifully designed Stanford White designed home around his old pioneer cabin out there. It's still there today. So if you ever get the chance and you're out at Majeska, and you go into the kitchen area, go peek in the closet. You can look in and see where the judge wallpapered the closet with the newspapers he'd pick up down off the train at El Toro. And you can go stand in there with a flashlight and read upside down about Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett and all the latest news. So anyway, it's an interesting spot. And Judge Pleasance was a fascinating guy. He had stories about fending off wolf attacks. He had shootouts with bandits. Legitimate Old West stuff. But he was coming to talk about his early, ranching years, and he came and he spoke. I should point out, this was the first regular meeting, like we still hold today for the Society, with programs featuring speakers knowledgeable about topics in Orange County history, and then, some fellowship tied in with that. It's a combination of the historical side and the society side. We had meetings already by that point for about a year. We'd incorporated a full year before that, and then we'd held planning meetings, to kind of get organized, get our bylaws set, elect officers, do all of that kind of stuff. So it wasn't the first function of the society, but it was really our first official meeting. So let's walk around a little bit more here, see what else is in here. It's not terribly exciting down this way. Now one thing I think you'll be able to see is if you go right outside this window out here, you'll be able to see there's a sycamore tree just across the street that was planted in honor of the tree that William Spurgeon climbed when he first purchased the land that he would turn into the city of Santa Ana. And he couldn't see over all the mustard to see the land he'd purchased. So he had to climb up a tree, and then he started making sketches from there about what this town, how it would be laid out, but the gag is that was a tree planted later with a little memorial. You'll notice there's a plaque underneath. If you look right over here, sort of about where that mural is, that's where the actual tree was. So they had to move it a little bit for parking access, but still, there's historic sites all around here, not just the Society's first meeting place, but of course the old courthouse across the street. And it's downtown Santa Ana, so we're right in the heart of a lot of Orange County history here. I'll also say, the library here was not just where we met, and we held our meetings here, a lot of our early meetings for a long time. This was kind of, our hub for the Orange County Historical Society. Later, we started having more meetings at the Ebell Club, and of course, we were having a lot of different meetings at other historic sites. We'd be invited to someone's home, or we'd go out to the mission and have a meeting with Father St. John O'Sullivan as the speaker, or we traveled around just as we occasionally do now. But this was our home base initially, and in fact, we would have people drop off papers. When you spoke to the society, you needed to have in the early years you needed to submit a paper, basically outlining what your talk was going to be about, and the library would let us have people drop them off here, and then we'd review them, and we'd ask people to come speak. So, which frankly, I wish we kind of still did that. It would make my job as program chair a lot easier, but so it goes. Anyway, so this is just a quick little look at a small slice of Orange County Historical Society history, and from 100 years ago. So sadly the library isn't here anymore, but at least you get to come visit the space virtually.